Vespa and Lambretta scooters are classics. The people in the Vespa or Lambretta scene either like to screw themselves or let someone screw, or they tune or rebuild. That means workshops are the core of the scene. And that's why we decided to make a small series of videos in which we introduce to you some of these workshops. Today, we are in the heart of Bavaria, at Jockey's Pit Stop. And Jockey's Pit Stop belongs to Jockey, and he's sitting next to me. Do you want to introduce yourself briefly?
Ich bin der Jockey.
I am Jockey, and I've been doing this for a couple of years now. We had our 25th anniversary this year.
25-jähriges Jubiläum jetzt.
As you can see when you come in here, this is no longer a small Vespa or Lambretta garage or workshop, but rather a big place. And I think that's partly due to your reputation in the Lambretta scene, right?
Ich denke schon, ja. Also ich kann jetzt da nicht für...
I think so. Well, I can't speak for my customers, but it seems to be like that. Our customers come long ways. We always try to develop a few things in the winter season, like things that annoy us, or things that are not yet on the market in good quality, to somehow improve them and manufacture it.
Und herstellen lassen.
And what that is, and what options you have, and the workshop you have, that we will explore now.
Uns jetzt bei einem kleinen Rundgang an.
So we are here in the entrance area, or at the entrance door to Jockey's Pit Stop. Jockey has promised that he will give us a little tour of his shop now.
Genau, da fangen wir an. Hier ist gleich...
Exactly, let's start. Here's the distribution center. Here are the scooters that are ready and waiting to be picked up. Then on this side are the sales scooters.
Die Verkaufsrolle.
Aber sehr interessant, ne? Hier oben gibt es...
Very interesting. Up here you can see all sorts of scooters, from the small frame Lambrettas to this Chesterfield custom Vespa, which of course I think is awesome, up to the DL200 and 80s retro style Vespa.
Retro-Style Vespa hier.
Here in purple metallic with strange airbrushed edges. I think that's great.
Finde ich super.
Ja.
Yes, and what is also nice is the sticker.
Cats would drink whiskey.
Ja, und genau, man sieht, du handelst auch mit...
You're also selling new Lambrettas, this recently revived brand.
Yes, exactly. We also sell new Vespas, but only if someone comes and asks for it. And so that we also have a competing product, we sell the new Lambretta too.
Damit man da ein bisschen ein Konkurrenzprodukt hat. Auch die Lambretta, die neue.
Und was ich, wenn wir jetzt...
Before we go downstairs, earlier I discovered very proudly that Jockey's personal coffee cup, his very own coffee cup, is this one. We'll forgive you wearing this hoodie for that. That is very commendable.
So, das hier ist eigentlich so...
So this is the waiting area for the projects that are coming soon. Some of them are already in work. Sometimes it just takes longer. You can see there's a little bit of work to be done over the winter.
Gibt ein bisschen was zu tun den Winter.
What I think is very cool here, as someone who has been screwing and tuning for a long time now, and not only likes original scooters, is that you really have a lot of unusual tuning projects here. Other workshops would be frothing for it. I think we have a Casa performance engine with a DL here. Then, of course, you also have original projects.
Einer DL, dann hast du natürlich auch...
You don't really have to introduce it in detail, but what I briefly want to show you is the scooter at the very back here. I think it was called the Mild 7 or something like that.
Die Mild 7 oder so hieß?
Exactly, Mild 7, yes.
This is an old custom scooter that is being rebuilt, and I think the paint is inspired by a Williams Formula 1 car. Is that correct?
It was a Benetton Formula 1.
Ah, Benetton. Okay.
Yes, it was Benetton, exactly.
Also interesting here, an old customer scooter that is being renewed. I admire the gentleman for his, how should I put it, durability? But I think it's nice that such scooters are coming back to life. I've discovered something earlier, so I have to ask you to squeeze through here with the camera. Here's a custom scooter that I didn't know about before, but that I really need to show you, because it has the SIP sheet metal set. But above all, the owner or builder has done something very nice to it, and that's this speedometer here. I like it very much because it simply has a transparent dial, so you can look at the mechanism. He has of course also engraved the SIP logo. Okay, cool. This is a very nice selection you have here. It really goes across all generations of Vespa. Very beautiful original oldies, up to all the Lambrettas you get your hands on. But I think you already mentioned it. You also have a lot of customers from further away, don't you?
For a workshop, we are covering a wide area. There are also a lot of people from northern Germany, especially because of Lambretta things.
But also international customers.
Ja, also viele Österreicher, ist klar, das ist ja auch direkt, sind wir ja die direkten Nachbarn. Schweizer haben wir ein paar.
Yes, many Austrians, obviously, because we are the direct neighbors. Some from Switzerland. And there are also some Italians who come here. They want to do their MOT here in Germany, so that they can get their papers in Italy.
Viele wegen TÜV-Service.
Then it usually is more than just the MOT service, because most of the time the scooters are not what the MOT expects. So we still have to do a lot of work.
Okay, very nice. Should we go over to your workshop now?
Of course.
There's also a very nice old Ape here. Here we are now in the area where all the scooters are being repaired.
Exactly, yes. So that's really across the board. We do everything that concerns Vespa and Lambretta. Here's an Agma that is getting an update.
A PX with Malossi. A PK, it still looks very original. And the Lambretta up here also looks very beautiful.
It was converted to an Italian look some time ago. So actually all the typical jet parts are almost gone, except for the handlebars. It had an eventful life. It got passed through a few hands, was always driven diligently.
Even original flywheel covers. Is this the room where you do all the dirty work?
Exactly, we call it the dirty room. It gets quite messy here. We make a lot of sheet metal or straighten frames. This is, for example, the bench that we have. This is a really cool thing, because the frame of the Lambretta is often crooked. You don't think that at all, because it actually looks stable, but I would say that about 90% of the Lambrettas that are being restored are actually crooked.
I've discovered something here again. That's totally awesome at Jockeys, because you discover a lot, at least I do. Here is a chopper frame from a Lambretta chopper, probably my favorite exhibit here today. That's back in this room, this cut-down racer. And I think there's a very special story behind it, right?
Yes, it was my first project, but I built it very early on. I named it Jelly Vodka. My brother distributed it first, and then I used it to make a custom cut-down Lambretta out of it. It was a cool thing, fresh thing, drove well too. But unfortunately, it somehow turned out that I disassembled it.
Well, that's really a classic style for a Lambretta racer. I've been a fan of these for ages. I just hope I'm finished earlier than you.
Ich hoffe, ich bin früher fertig als du.
Yeah, let's see. Let's make a challenge out of it.
There are also old Louis frames up there.
Yes, some say this is a dungeon. Actually, this room was supposed to be something completely different, but somehow it just turned out that the junk accumulates here.
Junk is good. I mean, just look at this Vega or Louis leg shield.
Yeah, but that's not available. That's mine.
I already have one.
Later.
Ah, here's your spare parts storage.
Yes, this is actually the original warehouse. It was originally planned, but it quickly became too small. And we've also increased our inventory a lot over the years. On the other side, our warehouse continues, which is actually the tidier and more professional area. Here's our social room. Turns out a bit smaller.
Everything you need. Let's go to the other storage. Wait a moment. Come here. I want to show you something before we go to the storage. Look, what's behind the door?
Was ist hinter der Tür?
The toilet, of course. It's the best toilet sign I've seen so far. That's also the shop, right? You go down the stairs, and here we are now behind the counter. And here you now have a few exhibits of your own products, I think.
Eigenprodukte, glaube ich.
For example, here, an LED headlight, or over there, a clear glass headlight for Lambretta SX, and so on.
Für Lambretta SX und so weiter. Ne?
Of course, Jockey's clear glass headlights are also available in the SIP scooter shop.
Otherwise, there's nothing of our parts, but we have some really cool things that sell well and make sense.
This storage is big. Doesn't look too bad.
It's basically awesome that we have this inventory, inevitably because of the online shop, but it's also great for the workshop because you just go in and get the stuff you need. And you're not always like, damn, now I still need this part and have to order it.
I used to know that from our workshop where I worked at. They also had a really good warehouse that was certainly as big as the part here, but including used parts. We had a pretty good inventory, but of course we still ordered every day because there is always something you need. And of course it's incredibly practical because it also speeds up workshop processes. Very important question, do you still screw yourself?
Yes, and with great pleasure. This is actually my favorite thing to do.
I think that's very cool, because when you come to Jockey's Pit Stop, you get there because of the name. But then you also know that Jockey is also doing the work himself. That is not the case everywhere. So it's certainly a very nice thing. Cool. So that was an interesting insight. I would say, as we see 2 chairs here, we'll finish our beer in peace, right? And then let's talk about the really interesting things.
Dann besprechen wir mal die wirklich interessanten Sachen.
Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to you guys. Thanks to Jockey for your time and your hospitality. I saw many interesting things. Please subscribe to the channel if you liked this video and press the bell so that you will also be notified when we visit the next workshop. Until then, I'll say goodbye.
Goodbye and thank you.